Hello, I'm Scott May. Welcome to North Central Journal. And our special guest for this show, Fitchburg Mayor Steve DiNatale.
Hi,
Good
Scott.
to see you. It's been a while.
Great seeing you. Yeah, it has been, hasn't it? Yeah.
Well, let's see. I think it was the Boulder Awards last year. And this year is the 35th anniversary of FATV. And here we are in brand new studio, 780 Main Street.
What a great facility.
Wonderful. It's Nate Glennie and the team have done a great job.
Should be applauded.
It's been a lot of work, and it's really excellent.
And it's a long walk for me. I mean, it's right across the street.
You can probably do it with your
from
eyes
my
closed.
office. I love it. It's great. It's great. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being with us.
Sure.
And we're referring back to last year's Boulder Award banquet. I want to refer back to 2022 and just talk about some of the highlights of the year. I know there's been a lot of new business activity in Fitchburg, so let's start with that.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I don't want to bore anyone with naming names, but I'm going to name names. And, you know, the challenge of COVID over the last 3 years, we started seeing in 22, we started seeing, thank goodness, kind of a lessening of the restrictions and whatnot. And I hope we don't ever go back to that again. Those were the times that, you know, I know when someone's in this job, you can't anticipate those kinds of things, and you certainly can't anticipate how you're going to deal with them. So, you know, everyone uses the old line about, you know, you building the plane while it's in the air, you know, as absurd as that sounds. But that's the kind of thing you were dealing with. It's not something, you know, there isn't a COVID-19 handbook,
right,
you know, that you can refer to. So we relied on, and we still do, state direction along with the federal government's directives as well. So, but that was, you know, we saw a lessening of those restrictions, and I think we're getting to a point now where we're learning to live with COVID. It's not run and hide when you hear that someone's got COVID. It's not, you know, thankfully, unless, you know, you've got some multiple comorbidities and that kind of thing. But I think we're learning to deal with it, and we're moving on, hopefully.
Continued growth in Fitchburg. Main Street in particular. Let's talk about that. Some of the businesses that have relocated here to the Main Street area.
We've got, I mean, there are a couple. Rise and Grind is going to be opening, just about opening now on Main Street, almost directly across from City Hall. You've got
like where Murnix was in that area?
That, right.
Back in my day.
Murnix, wow.
Back in my day.
Well, no, the other way. Murnix was down by the...
That was right across from City Hall.
Was it? Was it? Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
What was it? It was like a diner, right? It was a breakfast lunch thing or something. Yeah.
Mike Murnick.
Mike Murnick. Wow.
They made great sandwiches.
Well, in those days,
excellent food.
Scott, in those days, I was in Leominster because that's where I grew up.
Yeah, be quiet.
Yeah. But I mean, that you've got Elmer Melendez opening up his restaurant on Main Street. Dario's.
Yep.
And upstairs, two apartments upstairs that I'm told. I saw it when it was still kind of raw, but they're completed. As a matter of fact, someone that works for the city is living in one of them as we speak. So the restaurants on Main Street, where we are, I think even more importantly than the businesses themselves, is that we've really put a dent in our lack of housing on Main Street. So you've got the Fitchburg Artist Colony that's going in across from the museum. You've also got the Pelletier properties off of Mount Vernon and Blossom Street. So that's opening up. We just opened up maybe a week ago the Morin Square facility, the Harper Building.
The Harper Building. I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
44 units, and my understanding is John Rudzinski's he's the developer, and they've already got a waiting list. So,
wow.
and its proximity and link to mass transit is key. So it's a transportation-oriented development, and you know, where some of the things I'm hoping to accomplish in the years, if I'm fortunate enough to be reelected, we're going to be changing how Morin Square looks with the Rotary and all that. We're going to try to see if we can reconfigure with the financial help of the state, obviously. So it will look different.
Speaking of reconfigure, introduced two-way traffic on Main Street, Boulder Drive. That was what, last June, I think, wasn't it?
Right, exactly.
And how is that? How's the flow going?
You know, we didn't know how it was going to be received.
Yeah.
There's always going to be some resistance because it's change, but you know, we had a couple of days where we really did not field a lot of complaints about it, and now it's like anything else, Scott. It's kind of second nature.
Sure.
And what I've noticed myself is it provides you with so many more options than we had before. Before it was two-way. But it should be what it is today, and it was. I think it was a huge success. So we're thrilled about that.
So you're sticking with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You talked about getting further away from COVID, things loosening up. What were some of the challenges that, along with that you had to deal with last year?
You know, I had to really give that some thought because there's always challenges. There are numerous challenges, but you know what? It's a challenge that we're facing now and will continue to face for probably several more years, unfortunately, and that's employment. You know, you're running a city, $150+ million budget, and finding employees today has become quite a challenge. And that's from everyone from people that are laborers to the engineering folks, that kind of thing. It's just difficult. I guess they're staying home, or I'm not sure why there's such a challenge, but that continues to be something that we need to, you know, my HR person, Susan Davis, along with my department heads, are trying to be as creative as possible in reaching those populations that can help us. And of course, we're faced with the challenges, increasing salaries, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And that's how you attract those needed positions. Yeah.
If we look ahead to the current year, 2023, can you maybe give us a little hint of some growth that you're expecting to have happen, some additional business relocation or growth?
Yeah, we're working with Amazon. They're not prepared to open up yet. The building's been completed. They've also asked us to come forward with plans for Intervale Road because we agreed before the slowdown. I think Amazon went through a international slowdown. They were building a lot of facilities that they put the air brakes on for a little bit. They're just starting to come out of that now. They're still not prepared to open up in Fitchburg, but the new building's constructed. We're going to be making infrastructure changes to Intervale Road, new plumbing and gas lines and sewer lines, that kind of thing, and then paving it. So that's something that we're looking at. Game On continues to do very well. Yeah. And we're thrilled about that. As a matter of fact, there's discussions going on now with some of the additional property that exists up there. That's a big section of acreage. It's over 85 acres. Wow. And so they're in discussions with us about how best utilize that land and to make it as least impactful to the residents living up there as you possibly can. So again, it's very, very premature, but in very early discussion phase.
Any other new development or construction plans that are on tap for this year? Well,
you know, additional housing development. That's always, you know, when Tom Skorowski was here, he was my executive director of community development. When he was here, we took a walk with then Jay Ash, who was DCF, and he told us back then, this is probably 5 or 6 years ago, that we really needed to increase the housing, particularly in that area. So we've been doing that. I think we've been chipping away at it. What I call the Flatiron Building. I don't know if you're familiar with that,
Yeah,
Scott.
yeah.
You know, used to be, what was it? It was a bank. I'm not sure which bank it was. You probably know.
I might, but
How long ago?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I barely remember my name. So.
That's moving forward. The property owners made the necessary hazardous material removal efforts. So that's one step that's checked off on the list. So we're hoping for housing in there as well as retail, commercial on the ground floor.
Tell us about the electricity program.
The aggregation program. Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we're excited about that. When I was in the legislature, I explored the possibility of going in an aggregate program. Back then, we're talking over 10 years ago, there wasn't a significant enough cost saving, so I never pursued it. But this time, through my purchasing department, Mary Delaney, who's my procurement officer, did an outstanding job in putting it all together, getting us linked up with the company that manages it. And what we're hoping to do, it's a movement in the right direction, Scott. It's not going to, it's not going to make anyone rich, but it's a help. It's providing people with more options that they don't have today, and that is on the supply side of electricity. So the company that we work with, Good Energy, will go out every so many months and go out to bid, try to get the energy at a lower rate than what DiNatale is getting.
Yeah.
And right now there's about a 5-cent difference. So it's, again, going in the right direction. You're not going to get rich out of it, but you might save yourself in a year maybe $100.
Yeah.
So that's $100 that's in your pocket and
Right.
and not in someone else's. So
When will
we're
this
happy
roll
with it.
out?
Well, the first meter reading in March is when it's going to start.
Okay.
And you have an opt-out process where everyone, if you're a DiNatale customer, you're in, unless you notify us or Constellation is the company that is managing the power itself, and let them know that you don't want to participate. So other than that, it's automatic.
What about celebration for Fitchburg's Civic Days coming
Yeah.
up? And
Yeah.
that kind of got derailed because of COVID too.
Yeah.
But it's coming back. And
Well,
what are the plans for this year?
Yeah, we had a great year last
Last
year,
year, yeah.
summer. We had over 25,000 people
Wow.
that came downtown. And
That's
it's just,
great.
pictures of the main street at that time were just, it was fabulous. A lot of work goes into that. I mean, it's my chief of staff, Natalia Oliver, has done a great job, along with a number of community people, Fitchburg State University, Joe Ferguson, and his staff. So I think you're going to see an enhancement of what you had last year. It's difficult to top what you did the year before, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that I think what they've done is they've learned what people really liked last year. And I think they'll try to duplicate that and maybe even maximize it, add a little bit more. So that'll be great. Fireworks, we're already lined up for the annual fireworks.
Beautiful.
Those went off well last year. And so we're excited about that. A lot of work goes into it, but it's great getting people downtown, and especially now with some of the new things happening on Main Street.
So you've got a decision to make in the coming months, and that is whether or not you're going to become a candidate for re-election.
That decision.
Have you decided that?
Yeah, I've drawn my papers. So
You have? Okay.
Yeah. I will be seeking my, what will it be? My 5th term. So that happens in November, and I'm hoping the voters of Fitchburg give me another shot for two more years, and see what else we can do to make things a little better for them.
Well, you're younger than President Biden, so I guess...
Not much more. That's right. I think, yeah. Well, some people think They think I'm already knocking on the nursing home door, you know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean, yes.
You know what I mean, right?
Anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
I'm looking at, let me just give you some of the names of
Yeah.
some of the businesses that have opened up, and there's got to be over 20. Malau by Munchies, El Toro Steakhouse, that has been just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's been the talk of the town. If you haven't been there, take the significant other and the kiddies and go down there and have, it is the best steak and beef menu in a 30-mile radius. Delicious dips next to the cellar, the old wine cellar.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah.
Mike Roy. Gray Barn Boutique, Serpent Athletics, the Savory Skillet.
I hate to tell you how many hours I spent in the old wine cellar.
Is that right? You did
Back
really?
in the day,
Yeah,
it was a favorite spot.
Yeah. Fuzzy's Cafe, Supernatural All-Stars. I was just at Supernatural All-Stars this morning for a ribbon cutting.
Ah.
And next door to that is Oliver's.
Yes,
If
yeah.
you want to take a look,
My wife
get
had
down.
breakfast there a couple of days
it's
ago. She said,
outstanding.
"Oh, lunch."
Great sandwiches.
Said it was great, yeah.
Great sandwiches. Yeah. And who else? We got Bonfire Books, Main Street Studios, Last Minute Gifts and Flowers. So, and then coming up in 23, New Brazilian Flavor on John Fitch, Dario's, Rise and Grind, Bonfire Books, a possible clothing store, and Let's Rage. That's down on John Fitch. Did you hear about that one?
No, Let's Rage.
Let's Rage. You can go in. This is, you can go in. They dress you up in an protective gear, and they give you a sledgehammer, and you take out all your frustrations on TVs, washing machines, ranges, refrigerators. Yeah,
Really?
They had their opening event about 3 weeks ago, and from what I'm hearing, the only place within 50 miles where you can go, you have to go up to Nashua or something, and
Wow.
it's probably less than 50. But yeah, they're doing well. So I think people know that we're here. They understand that we always try to be as business friendly as possible. As a matter of fact, today's ribbon cutting that I just came from, Supernatural All-Stars, it's, what do you call it? Like cheerleaders? And they're from 6 months old. You ready for this? 6 months old to like 38 years old. They have that range. Over 100 clients that go there to learn to flip people in the air or something. Oh, yeah.
Jeez, wow.
And it's a huge, they were in Clinton. They came to Fitchburg. And they mentioned at this ribbon cutting how absolutely thrilled they were with the reception from the city, how we were, we met them with open arms and we tried to get to yes, and apparently we did. And that's the idea. We want as much commercial retail business as we can get, and we've made quite an effort with the cannabis industry. I mean, they've found a home in Fitchburg. We've got about 8 businesses, and we're tapped up. We're tapped out, by the way, folks. 8 is it right now.
8 is enough, yeah.
That's 8 is enough, exactly, right. So, but that's been a positive for the tax base and things like that. They've gone into buildings and old warehouses and factories that have been unoccupied for years. So that's a good thing.
Well, congratulations on the growth and the success. I'm just so impressed with the number of new businesses that have come in and opening up, and you look forward to another great year in 2023. And
Thank you.
Best of luck in the efforts of re-election.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, and thanks everybody out there. And come and take advantage of these businesses. Give them your business and your money, and the products they have are terrific. So
Great to see you.
thanks.